Good morning, everybody. I have the pleasure to tell you that we're still 30 people reading, which is really wonderful, wonderful. Hope you have a cup of coffee. We're going to read 2 pages. It's quite dark. It's still dark. So it's another season now in Belgium. The 2nd of September, I think we are today. So the season is really changing. It's a bit fresher in the morning. So we're going to read page 60 and 61. And remember, we were talking about Javert, who is I think, the chief of the police office. And so what does he say? He says, puis il restait 3 jours pensif sans prononcer une parole. Ah yes, so Javert was really thinking a lot about this Mr. Madeleine, whom we have recognized, I think. So then he stayed 3 days. Pensif means like thinking, without pronouncing a word. Il paraît que le fil qu'il croyait tenir s'était rompu. Il paraît que, it seemed that the thread, but here is the thread of his, the thread of his thinking, of what's going on in his mind, that he believed holding. So the idea or the thread he believed he was having in his head, s'était rompu, was broken. So he was thinking, I know this man, I've seen this man before. Javert était évidemment quelque peu déconcerté par le complet naturel et la tranquillité de Monsieur Madeleine. So Javert, the policeman or inspector, was, of course, a little bit déconcerté, we could say disconcerted, but maybe confused by the natural totality. It's a bit strange to say that in English, but like the total natural being and the calm of Mr. Madeleine. He was very intrigued. Un jour pourtant, son étrange manière d'être parut faire impression sur Monsieur Madeleine. Although one day, and so the although it's pourtant, although one day, his strange manner of being, his strange way of being, seemed to make an impression on Mr. Madeleine. Voici à quelle occasion. So here is on which occasion. So let me just read it again. So it's Mr. Madeleine who thinks that Javert is quite strange. Okay, and so now he's going to tell, Victor Hugo is going to tell, in which situation it was a little bit strange. So, Monsieur Madeleine passait un matin dans une ruelle non pavée de Montreuil-sur-Mer. So, Mr. Madeleine passed one morning in a small street. So street is rue, and ruelle, it's a very narrow, small street. In a small street, non pavé, so not paved, not with cobblestones, of Montreuil-sur-Mer, which is the place where they are. Il entendit du bruit et vit un groupe à quelque distance. So he heard a noise and saw a group at some distance. So he saw a group of people. Il y alla. So he went there, and the there is the small word I. Un vieux homme, nommé le père Fauchelevent, venait de tomber sous sa charrette dont le cheval s'était abattu. So an old man named Father Fauchelevent. I explained already before that, well, to a lot of men, they said father. Venait de, and this we've seen already before a few times. Venir de means has just. This is a strange construction. In French, if you don't understand, please ask me. So he had just fallen under his cart, of which the horse was abattu, was like broken or was like, well, come off. The horse had come off the cart. Ce Fauchelevent était un des rares ennemis qu'eut encore Monsieur Madeleine à cette époque. So this man, Fauchelevent, was one of the rare enemies that still had Mr. Madeleine at that time, à cette époque, at that time. Lorsque Madeleine était arrivé dans le pays, Fauchelevent, ancien tabellion et paysan presque lettré, avait un commerce qui commençait à aller mal. Just a little bit of coffee before we go on. So, when Madeleine had arrived in the country, in that area, Fauchelevent, he was an ancient, or before he was a tabellion, is a some kind of an officer, I think, something in the army, an old officer and peasant, farmer, presque lettré, almost literate, had a business which started to go bad or go wrong. Fauchelevent avait vu ce simple ouvrier qui s'enrichissait, tandis que lui, maître, se ruinait. So this man, Fauchelevent, had seen this simple workman, well, that's Monsieur Madeleine, who became rich, whereas he, the master, se ruinait, ruined himself. So he was going bankrupt, he ruined himself. Cela l'avait rempli de jalousie. That had filled him with jealousy. Et il avait fait ce qu'il avait pu en toute occasion pour nuire à Madeleine. And he had done what he had been able to do, pouvoir, what he could, on every occasion to damage Mr. Madeleine. So to do everything he could to damage Madeleine, to hurt him. Puis la faillite était venue. Then the bankruptcy had come. So faillite means bankruptcy. Et vieux, n'ayant plus à lui qu'une charrette et un cheval, sans famille et sans enfants du reste, pour vivre, il s'était fait charretier. So, and old, having only, and the only is ne plus, having only to him, the only thing he had, une charrette, a cart and a horse, without family and without children for the rest. To live, he had made himself carter, or driver of a cart, charretier. So now there, le cheval avait les deux cuisses cassées et ne pouvait se relever. So the horse had the two legs broken and could not se relever, stand up, get up. Le vieillard était engagé entre les roues. So the old man was engaged, well, that's not what you're going to say in English, but maybe stuck. Yeah, stuck between the wheels. La chute avait été tellement malheureuse que toute la voiture pesait sur sa poitrine. So the fall, la chute, had been so unfortunate that toute la voiture, the whole car or cart, was weighing, the weight was on him, so it was weighing on his chest. La charrette était assez lourdement chargée. the cart was rather heavily charged or heavily loaded. Le père Fauchelevent poussait des râles lamentables. So, Father Fauchelevent pushed, des râles, it's some like screams, or what could it be? Like, he was like with a hoarse voice screaming like, ah! And then lamentable means miserable screams, let's say as that. On avait essayé de le tirer, mais en vain. So, on, and you know that on can be a lot of things in French. It can be they, it can be we, but yes, it can be they, we. And so here it means they had tried to pull him, but in vain. Didn't work. Un effort désordonné, une aide maladroite, une secousse à faux pouvait l'achever. So, an unorganized effort or a clumsy help, or une secousse means a shock or shaking à faux, a wrong shock, could finish him, could kill him. Il était impossible de le dégager autrement qu'en soulevant la voiture par-dessous. So, it was impossible to dégager. It's like ungage him, but like, yes, to pull him from there, other than by lifting up the cart from underneath, par-dessous. Javert, qui était survenu au moment de l'accident, avait envoyé chercher un cric. So Javert, the policeman, who had intervened at the moment of the accident, had sent someone to get a cric, in English, that's, it's some kind of like a jack screw, what you use to pull up a car. Monsieur Madeleine arriva. So Mr. Madeleine arrived. On s'écarta avec respect. So on, here it's they. S'écarter means to step aside, to go a bit further, to step aside. So they stepped aside with respect. So now we're going to the next page. This must be, I think, 61. Yes. À l'aide, criait le vieux Fauchelevent. Help, screamed the old Fauchelevent. Qui est-ce qui est bon enfant pour sauver le vieux? Qui est-ce qui? So who is? Bon enfant normally means it's like a good child, but it can also mean like who is good-natured to save the old man? Monsieur Madeleine se tourna vers les assistants. So Mr. Madeleine turned himself to the assistants. So he said, who's going to save this man? A-t-on un cric? Do we have a jack screw? On en est allé quérir un, répondit un paysan. So here it's they have gone to quérir, quest, to get one, answered a peasant or a farmer. Dans combien de temps l'aura-t-on? So this is Monsieur Madeleine who asked, in how much time will we have it? On est allé au plus près, au lieu Flachot, où il y a un maréchal. So they have gone to the nearest, to the place Flachot, where there is and I think maréchal, it's also maréchal in English, some kind of military term. Mais c'est égal, il faudra bien un bon quart d'heure. But it's equal, it's the same. Il faudra, it will be necessary. And this il faut construction in all tenses, we've also seen a few times, but so il faudra, it will be necessary, it will be well necessary. Maybe there's no verb, but in French you can say it like that. So it will be necessary to have a good quarter of an hour. So we need a quarter of an hour for somebody to get back with the jack screw. Un quart d'heure, s'écria Madeleine. A quarter of an hour, screamed Madeleine, or he screamed. He screamed. Il avait plu la veille. It had rained the day before. Le sol était détrempé. The ground was totally wet, détrempé. La charrette s'enfonça dans la terre à chaque instant et comprimait de plus en plus la poitrine du vieux charretier. So the cart, and then s'enfoncer means to sink deeper in. Hein? The cart was sinking in the soil at each moment a little bit more, and comprimé, compressed or squeezed more and more the chest of the old carter. Il était évident qu'avant 5 minutes, il aurait les côtes brisées. So it was evident that before 5 minutes, he would have, les côtes is his ribs, broken, brisé. Cassé, brisé means broken. Sorry, I need a little bit more coffee. It's still very early in the morning. Il est impossible d'attendre un quart d'heure, dit Madeleine aux paysans qui regardaient. So it is impossible to wait a quarter of an hour, said Madeleine to the peasants or the farmers who were looking. Il faut bien, it's well necessary. Mais il ne sera plus temps, but it will not be anymore in time. Vous ne voyez donc pas que la charrette s'enfonce. So, and that's the donc, so you don't see that the cart is sinking deeper? Damn. So that's like, it's a bit like, oh my God. Écoutez, reprit Madeleine, il y a encore assez de place sous la voiture pour qu'un homme s'y glisse et la soulève avec son dos. So this is the solution of Mr. Madeleine. Listen, said Madeleine again. There is still enough place or room under the cart pour que, so that a man, glisser means glides himself there, and soulève, lifts it up, and it's la charrette, the cart, with his back. Rien qu'une demi-minute et l'on tirera le pauvre homme. Rien que, nothing but 1/2 minute, and we will pull the poor man, meaning from underneath. Y a-t-il ici quelqu'un qui ait des reins et du cœur? So, y a-t-il? Is there here somebody who has les reins? Well, normally it means the kidneys, but I think in French it means the guts and the heart. 5 louis d'or à gagner. So this is Mr. Madeleine. He's going to pay. He says 5 golden louis to win, to earn. Huh? So at that time, people paid with golden louis. Louis is, it's Louis XIV, Louis XIV, very important person in France, so he was on the coins. Personne ne bougea dans le groupe. Nobody moved in the group. 10 louis, dit Madeleine. 10 golden louis, said Madeleine. Les assistants baissaient les yeux. So the assistants, the people who were assisting, they lowered their eyes. Un d'eux murmura. One of them whispered. Il faudra être diablement fort. So one should be, this is the B, one should be devilishly strong, so terribly strong. Et puis, on risque de se faire écraser. And then, one risks, so we risk to have oneself crushed, we risk being crushed. There is a risk being crushed. Okay, you understand that I try to translate word by word so that you understand very well, even though the English is not always the very best. Allons, recommença Madeleine. 20 louis. Come on, started Madeleine again. 20 golden louis. Même silence. Same silence. Ce n'est pas la bonne volonté qui leur manque, dit une voix. It is not the goodwill that manque is lacking to them, that they don't have, is lacking to them, said a voice. So a voice said, it's not the goodwill they don't have. Monsieur Madeleine se retourna et reconnut Javert. So Mr. Madeleine turned around and recognized Javert. Il ne l'avait pas aperçu en arrivant. He had not aperçu, seen or perceived him when arriving. On his arrival, he had not seen that Javert was there. Javert continua. So Javert went on. C'est la force. It's the strength. So it's a strength they don't have. Il faudra être un terrible homme. So one should be, or it should be, this is the be, a terrible man. But in French, terrible can also be positive. So I think here it would rather be, it should be a formidable man, like a wonderful man, a very strong man. Okay, we read 2 pages, which is really very, very nice. I hope you still go on reading with me. I love this book. I read it already, but just rereading, it's marvelous. So I hope you will be there next week, reading with me. Have a wonderful Tuesday. Bye.